that don't know me, my name is Tom Homan. I began my career as a Border Czar agent in 1984. After 34 years, I became the first director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that actually came up through the ranks. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Under President Trump, we cut illegal immigration by 90%, the lowest level in 45 years. Deportations rose to the highest level ever, including historic numbers of illegal alien gang members and criminals. Most importantly, 4 years under President Trump, we had 13 people we arrested on a terrorist watch list. Joe Biden, 381. And let's remember, we got over 2 million known gotaways. How many of them came from a country that sponsored terrorism? God help us. Biden is the first president in American history to come into office and unsecure a border. Who the hell does that? On their first day in office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris suspended deportations. They stopped the border wall. They canceled Remain in Mexico. They reinstated catch and release. They proposed amnesty for millions, along with free health care. And now we have a record illegal immigration, a record number of women and children being sex trafficked, a record number of Americans dying from fentanyl, a record number of known and suspected terrorists sneaking across our border. And here's what you need to know. This isn't mismanagement. This isn't incompetence. This is by design, and it's a choice. It's national suicide. As a guy who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. And I got another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his
Mr. Homan, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together. I hear a lot of people say, you know, the talk of a mass deportation is racist, it's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community. But on the heels of historic illegal immigration crisis. That has to be done.
What would the largest deportation in American history look like to you?
Well, let me tell you what's not going to be first. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps. I've read it all. It's ridiculous.
But if mass deportation is not going to be, as you said, massive sweeps and concentration camps,
There'll be concentrated.
what is it?
There'll be targeted arrest.
Hey, look, they gave me 5 minutes to say a few things, so if I offend anybody tonight, I don't give a shit. Let me tell you something. Doctors Without Borders did a study that said 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. So let me ask you a question. When President Trump had illegal immigration at a 45-year low, 90% decrease, how many women weren't being raped? How many children weren't drowning in the river? How many pounds of fentanyl didn't make in this country to kill Americans? How many known suspected terrorists didn't make it in the country? How many billions of dollars did the cartels make? President Trump is one badass president. He secured the border at the level we've never seen before. And I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that's been released into the United States under this administration. Don't get too comfortable. Here's what you need to understand. Under Joe Biden, 148,000 Americans have died from fentanyl across the open border. There's a 600% increase in the sex trafficking of women and children. It's un-American. Alejandro Mayorkas needs to be impeached 2 years ago. Then when he's done, President Biden, you should be next, because you sold the security of this country out for political reasons. There's no reason to open a border. There's no downside on a secure border. There's no downside unless migrants dying. There's no downside unless women getting raped. There's no downside unless Americans die from drug fentanyl. There's no downside to keeping terrorists out of this country. But you know what's going to happen? In January of 25, the greatest president of my lifetime is walking back in the White House. He tells me, we got, I say 120 days. He says, no, you got 60 to lock the border down. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I told the president. He comes back, I come back, we fix this shit. And you can take that to the bank. So, great birthday. I'm looking forward to next year, because Donald Trump will be the president. I'll be in the middle of running the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen.